What's doing, Tigers fans? Galvin gone. Is Benji next? What is happening in the world of Tigers? Absolute disaster zone. Is Jerome Luai out the door? We're going to talk about it all here, right now, at Barry Charles Footy Show. Welcome back, guys and gals. Absolutely all the talk of Rugby League has all changed today with Lachlan Galvin knocking back $6 million, 5-year contract, and saying au revoir in 2026. What does this mean for the Tigers? And what does this mean for Galvin going forward? Let's get into it right here, right now. Lockie Galvin, sayonara. This divorce has got to happen right here, right now. He cannot be playing with the Tigers in 2026. It will derail them. And what does this mean? Will Luai go as well after all this? Because I think he was expecting Lachlan Galvin to stay there. Well, let's try and navigate all the channels around here, what's been happening, and try and give you a deep dive into what's happening here. Well, first of all, talks is Lachlan Galvin doesn't think Benji coach is a great coach, doesn't rate him at all, even though he's probably one of the better halfbacks, the 5'8s to play the game. So you would think the way he's been playing since he's joined the Tigers, he's been outstanding, playing the Benji type football, probably a bit better than Benji at his age. Let's just be honest. Benji was a very good stepper in that, but Lachlan Galvin's got a lot more to his game. So he doesn't rate the coach. Then you got the Moses factor. Isaac Moses, one of his player agents. I believe there's another man called Adam that's supposed to be his player agent, but pretty much Isaac Moses has taken over. And he's the one who got rid of Mitchell Moses and James Tedesco from the Roosters. So from the Tigers when they left to go to the Roosters in Parramatta. So you got that story there that Isaac Moses is the one to blame here, but yes. Now, what does this do in Tiger Town? Shane Richardson's on, boom, see you later, out the door. Forget about it, you're gone, baby. What should we do? Well, what should we do is just tell the public that he's gone in 2026. Well, once you've done that, you have to release him for 2026. Or you drop him to reserve grade. Yes, Lachlan Galvin goes to reserve grade. And people would argue it should happen this week. Will it happen this week? Hell no, it won't happen this week. But if they start to lose some games, come near the end of the season, they're out of the top 8, I think Lachlan Galvin loses a spot. But certainly for 2026, he's got to go. Whoever he's signing with, he's got to go. And who is that going to be? Well, before we get to who's that going to be, let's just go back a step and look at the situation of the Tigers. So he's gone. Who do the Tigers have in the books? The talk is that Latu Whānau could go there. Is he as good as Lachlan Galvin? Hell no. Have they got anyone else to go to deliver that? Potentially not. This is where the Tigers could get a little bit smart here. Now, whether Luai will go back to the number 6 jersey, I don't know about that. But there's a chance to maybe get a Fogarty or a DCE. Maybe DCE might like to go to the Tigers now if he believes that this club could do something. But yeah, it's a lot of... But the other factor is, does Jerome Luai go the other way? Does he say see you later after his whatever year it is, so whether he can leave, whether it's after next year? Does he decide, I'm out of here, I'll go to the Bulldogs? There's a lot of things. It all depends on who Galvin goes with and DCE goes with. That's pretty much going to determine maybe Luai's future going into the future if the Tigers go backwards. But another big talking point is the coach himself, Benji Marshall. Okay, they look good so far. They look like a team that's probably on the edge of the top 8. I wouldn't say they're going to make the top 8, but they're a team that probably come 10th or 11th of what I've seen so far. But what will the Doomsday say if he doesn't make the top 8 again? Taruva's playing good football. You can say that he's got them playing some good football. He looks like he has actually developed some players to improve. That's what you've seen. he's got rid of some riff-raff like Clemmer and the likes, the older players that just don't seem to listen to what he wants to do. And I think this is another talking point. From what I've heard, Benji Marshall is pretty hard. In the Madge Maguire, Tim Sheen's mode, very honest, direct, but then you can say that about Serraldo as well, so there's quite a few players in this, and it might be rubbing Lachlan Galvin the wrong way. Because there is talk that Lachlan Galvin is not a hard trainer, he doesn't do the extras. That's what has been reported, whether it's true or not. You have to read between the lines, but if it's true, then maybe they're happy for him to go. I don't know, but it's just really interesting how that is all going to play out going forward. Where is he going to sign? Where is Lachlan Galvin going to sign? Well, everyone's saying that Trent Robinson, Nick Politis will not play, will not deal with Mitchell Moses, will deal with him. Are you kidding me? I mean, with not Mitchell Moses, with Isaac Moses, absolutely. If it's a Lachlan Galvin, you do it. I honestly think the Roosters are better off to go for Lachlan Galvin than DCE, in my opinion. If you're wanting long-term success, I think that would be the way to go. You could question, but it'd be similar like a Luai, Cleary sort of scenario here for the Roosters. They could go for DCE for 2 years, whatever you want to say, 3 years, if you think he can play that long. Or do you go for Lachlan Galvin and he'll pay 10 years? I think there's a smoky. He's going to the Roosters. They're playing it down there. They're not chasing him, but that's total rubbish. But obviously Bulldogs are the big one. Phil Gould, is he going to put the big check out? He said he wasn't going to. Well, we're going to find out. I think he's gained 1.2 million. I think Lachlan Galvin easily has gained 1.2 million in his contract, unless he goes to a lesser team. Well, this now, I know no one's talking about it. They always like to talk about all the other teams here, but the Melbourne Storm, do they look at Lachlan Galvin and let Jerome Hughes go? Because there is talks that Jerome Hughes is willing to go to the Warriors. It's been around for a while. I know, so it's going to be an interesting point of call. If Lachlan Galvin wants to go to a premiership team, he'll go there. Can Munster play 7 there? Or will Galvin play 7? Maybe he plays 7. So I think they're real smoke. I don't think they're going to happen. Manly, I don't see it happening. I don't see him playing with Luke Brooks and the likes. I don't know. Maybe he likes the Northern Beaches. I don't know. Parramatta, I can't see him going there either. Even though it's this junior club and everything, I think he'll be going to a team that's won the Cup. Unless Parramatta go 1.5 mil or something ridiculous. If they do something like that, then he might go to Parramatta. If a team like that, any team wants to do that, Dolphins. But yeah, I think Roosters and Bulldogs are my 2 at this stage. Melbourne are smoky, but they probably don't have the cap. But if Hughes left, then there you go. And the other one, I suppose, is the Panthers. Do the Panthers show him the money? Well, they wouldn't show Jerome Luai the money. Will they show him the money? Well, there's a potential. You wouldn't say Blaze is he has had that much opportunity, but he's not setting the world on fire. So that's the question mark there. Well, look at this. We're already gone 9 minutes into this episode, and I thought I was going to be talking about other stuff today, but we're going to talk about it. The Warriors. Absolute Warriors. If Jerome Hughes doesn't go off the field, their season is over. Thank goodness for that. They didn't get to that 50-point barrier. If you get to 50 points and lose a game in the season, you do not win the comp. The Warriors are still a hope. Thank goodness for that. But in saying that, they need Johnson back, but he's not coming back. But yeah, they were just absolutely. Metcalf actually played a pretty good game. Aaron Clark, I've been very impressed. I know he's led in a few tries during the season as well, but he's been very much, I think, Warriors' best player over if you're going through all the games. And Lecker, wow. Have we got a gun there? I think the alarm bells are ringing. I think he's starting next week. He's got to start. I'm going to put it out there before they come out. I don't think they will, but I'd love to see him starting. He looks like a gun, and he can play 80 minutes. He is an absolute gun. But the Melbourne Storm were just way too clinical. Absolutely blew them off the park. And Melbourne Storm are raging hot favourites to win this competition. Now the Panthers, yes, the Panthers. Doomsday is here, folks. Panthers will not be winning the premiership. the Panthers will not be making the top 8. I'm putting it out there. I think I don't see them making the top 8 the way they're playing. I just can't see it. They really have lost the plot. They really have. Defensively, they just cannot get up for games, and they might turn it around next week. But I don't see them making the top 8. I think there's better teams around. I mean, they got Cleary, Dylan Edwards looks like he's out of sorts as well, but they're missing the Taruvas. But I think their biggest one people not talking about is Toho as well, with Luai and Fisher Harris. I mean, the list goes on. But they really are missing Toho. His meter Ito, him and Dylan Edwards together are huge. Him being out has been a big miss because they also lost Taruva. So big pressure, big things. But yes, there will be no 5-peat in 2025. What else was I going to talk about? Yes, the Rugby League world. Well, obviously, Spencer Leno. What's happening there, folks? The FC word and the FW word coming out. What do I actually think? Do I think there's 2 wrongs in the story here? I'm from my side of view, I think Thurston would have been like not barking, but would be consistently asking him questions about it potentially, and that's what Spencer Leno didn't like, and he just went at him, and then he did it on social media as well, calling him a fake person, and sometimes it's true in life, but a professional will stay professional, and even if he might not really like Spencer Leno, he's going to look in public and pretend that he and that's just the way it is being a professional. You just got to do that. Spencer Leno is not going to be professional. He's not going to be that type of person. He's not going to be media in terms of that sort of media. He could do podcasts by himself, but he wouldn't be in the mainstream media, I wouldn't think, in the way he talks. So that's where Spencer Leno's at. But to me, NRL should do something about it. I know there's people saying boys will be boys. I'm going to move on to another channel. That's not me. It's time for these players to get off their high horse. They are above. They're getting paid more than the Prime Minister. They are role models to the sport. If he doesn't want to do that, then just shut your mouth. Simple as that. You don't want to be involved? Shut your mouth. It's just stupid comments. Doesn't need to be made. I know Buzz Rothfield and some of the older kids out there, that happens all the time. That doesn't mean it's right. It maybe happens still, and that's the way some people think the world works. Well, a world can be a better place than all this bullshit with all this F words and all this baloney. I know at the heat of the moment sometimes people can say things. I'm not saying that Spencer Leno is a bad person or anything like that. But when it happens very frequently, then it does come part of your DNA. But yes, Thurston, being the professional he is, he probably just kept asking the question and he got a bite back. That's just what happens. I wanted to go back to Taylan May's story. This probably would be one of the biggest stories I would have thought if that didn't happen. But Taylan May has gone into the mental health clinic to try and get away from his demons. I just wanted to do a bit of this mental health. Just because he got taken out not guilty because the court proceed didn't continue, was his wife talked up by Taylan May or someone in his family to not turn up? So happy families, and here we go. Something like that potentially happened, and this is all potential. To me, why would you want to sign a guy of this character, in my opinion? I would not be signing him, but that's rugby league. Everyone gets second chances. Here we go. Yes. So the Panthers have lost in the season's over. So is Parramatta Eels. Now, who are teams that can win the comp? You got to get to that magical 4 wins in 8 rounds to win the comp. So far, the Bulldogs are there, the Storm are there, the Broncos, and the Rabbitohs, believe it or not. Who would have thought the Rabbitohs would have 4 wins after the injury crisis to start the season? Unbelievable. But yeah, the Roosters, they are on tender hooks. The Titans will be on tender hooks soon, I'd expect, the way they've been playing. The Dolphins are under pressure as well if they don't win. So there's quite a lot of player and teams that need one more win, like the Warriors need one more win, Cowboys need one more win in the next couple of weeks. But yes, let's try. I wanted to finish this episode of trying to break down who is going, who are the favourites. I think number one is Storm at the moment. Their attack is scintillating, but can they do it in the wet? Can they do it in the hard conditions? That's why I put Bulldogs number two. They are playing grand final football. That could be the difference between the two teams getting to the back end of the season. Flat track bullies always get beaten by the grunts. So they're the top two teams. After that, I think there's a dip. I think it's a big dip. From what I've seen, every other team has been too inconsistent. Raiders have bounced back. They've been a surprise packet. But have they got the guns in the end of the season to get it done? I don't think so. But they could easily make the top eight. And potentially go a lot further than what even I think. Maybe preliminary final. But then you got Manly, who the DC saga is getting to them. Or was it just Manly? They play good one week, rubbish the next. We will see how that plays out. The Broncos have lost at home, I think, twice this season. What's doing the Broncos? All the talk about this team going to be the team that's going to win the premiership. I'm not seeing it. I really am not seeing it. But again, they have won 4 games, so they've only lost 2, but they really got to get something going. The Rabbitohs, they're an absolute smoky because they got gun players if they're all playing at the right time. Cody Walker, Latrell Mitchell, Cameron Murray comes back. Maybe at the end of the year there is something to happen, but yeah, I'm just not convinced there. Roosters, they're not winning the comp. Tigers are not winning the comp. The Warriors, they're an interesting team. If they can improve. Can they improve? I don't know, but at the moment, they're looking like a top 8 team. For what I've seen, even though they got smashed by the Storm, I think a lot of teams are getting smashed by the Storm this season. They did fight back a little bit in the second half. I know Jerome Hughes went off, and that's probably why that happened, but it's in the play of the gods. But yes, the Warriors are still a chance in this game.